Hey everyone, if you're a teacher, you know all about the rubric. It's that framework that pretty much defines our practice, right? And we're all trying to move up those levels. But that jump from being proficient to exemplary, well, sometimes it can feel a little vague, almost like chasing a ghost. So today, we're going to make it real. We're going to break down the key shifts that really define a Level 4 teacher and turn those abstract goals into actual steps you can take in your classroom. So let's start with this big question. We all know what a good, proficient, Level 3 teacher looks like. The classroom is humming along, the lessons are solid, and yeah, kids are learning. But what's the real difference between that and a truly great, exemplary teacher? You know, it's usually not about adding more stuff to your plate. It's more about a fundamental shift in how you think, a shift from just directing the learning to actually inspiring it.
And this slide right here, this is the single most important mindset shift of all. On the left, you've got the Level 3 teacher as the director. They're up front, leading the show, making sure everything runs smoothly. And hey, it works. But look to the right. The Level 4 teacher is a facilitator. They've stepped off the stage and into the audience, empowering students to drive their own learning. It's a huge move from directing the show to designing a stage where students can really shine on their own.
So our roadmap to Level 4 has 3 main stops. First, we'll talk about designing for excellence. That's all the critical work you do before the bell even rings. Then we'll step into the classroom and see what inspiring in the classroom actually looks like in practice. And finally, we'll zoom out and look at the big picture, cultivating a culture of mastery, where your students are the ones taking the lead.
All right, let's kick things off at the very beginning, with preparation. This is where you lay the foundation for a Level 4 lesson. It's about going beyond just having a solid plan. It's about designing an inspiring experience. So just look at how a lesson plan evolves. A Level 3 plan is good, it's solid, it connects to what kids already know and to their real lives. But a Level 4 plan, it looks different. It's more like a hub. There's a creative, innovative spark at the center, and you can see how it branches out with exceptional differentiation. It's not a single path for the whole class anymore. It's a network of pathways designed to meet every single learner right where they are. And here's the why behind all that extra work. This creativity, this deep differentiation, it isn't just about making a lesson more fun. The rubric is super clear about this. The whole purpose is to maximize the progress of all learners. Every innovative choice you make has to serve that one goal, pushing each and every student beyond what's expected. Think about a tool like a knowledge organizer. At Level 3, the teacher probably uses it as a reference or a prompt. But at Level 4, that same piece of paper transforms. It becomes this dynamic tool that students themselves are using in new ways to connect ideas, to quiz each other, to deepen their own understanding. It stops being the teacher's resource and becomes the student's tool for discovery. Okay, so we've done the planning. Let's move into the classroom and see how it all comes to life. This is where all that behind-the-scenes work starts to shift the dynamic from simple instruction to genuine student empowerment. So what's the point of all that excellent planning? It all boils down to this key idea, self-regulated learning. This is pretty much the end game for a Level 4 teacher. It's that magic moment when students go beyond just following your directions and start managing their own learning journey. They're setting their own goals, checking their own progress, and switching up their strategies when something isn't working. That is what true student empowerment really looks like.
Let's talk about questioning for a second. On the left, a Level 3 teacher asks a really great, higher-order question, and the students answer back to the teacher. It's a classic teacher-student check-in. But look at the right. The Level 4 teacher's question is more like a spark. See those speech bubbles? The conversation is now happening between students. They're the ones challenging each other and building on ideas together. The teacher has removed themselves as the middleman.
And feedback? Oh, it evolves in a huge way. Check out this table. Level 3 feedback is pointed and pertinent, and it helps students produce their best work. That's fantastic, but follow that row over to Level 4. Now the feedback is personalized. The action it inspires isn't just pure assessment, it's critical reflection. And the goal is no longer just doing their best work, it's to push them beyond expectations because you've taught them how to improve themselves. So what does a Level 4 student task actually look like? Well, the rubric gives us a pretty clear roadmap, and you can see it right here. It all starts with really well-scaffolded tasks. But that support is there for a reason, to build independence and creativity. From there, the task gets them collaborating. And the ultimate goal is to challenge them to blow past the expected outcomes. It's a ladder to excellence, one step at a time. And that leads us perfectly into our final section, the classroom environment itself. A Level 4 classroom isn't just well managed, it's a living, breathing culture of mastery and student leadership.
This chart really paints the picture, doesn't it? In a level 3 classroom, things are still pretty teacher-led. The teacher's systems and routines are what create the order. But look at that massive jump in the level 4 classroom. It becomes overwhelmingly student-led. That positive, respectful culture isn't being maintained by the teacher anymore. It's being actively owned and driven by the students.
Here's the difference in a nutshell. At level 3, you have a great climate of respect that the teacher works hard to maintain. But at level 4, the learners themselves are the ones consistently showing leadership and proactive engagement. They aren't just following the rules of the culture, they are actively creating and protecting it. The teacher has, in a way, worked themselves out of a job when it comes to day-to-day management.
So what's the result of all of this? You get the level 4 student. This is what learners look like when they're in this kind of environment. Yes, they produce exemplary work with creativity and precision, but it's so much more than that. They self-regulate their own behavior, they apply their skills on their own in new situations, and, this is the big one, they take the initiative to extend their own learning. You haven't just taught them content, you've helped them become expert learners.
Okay, so as we start to wrap this up, let's boil it all down to the core mindset. What's the philosophy, the belief system that's really driving a level 4 teacher?
At the end of the day, the level 4 mindset is all about a deep belief in student potential. It's about intentionally designing every single part of your lesson to foster independence and inspire creativity. It's about explicitly teaching the skills for self-regulation so that you can create real opportunities for student leadership. Every choice you make is driven by one single ultimate goal: maximizing the potential of every student in that room.
You know, this journey from level 3 to level 4, it isn't about throwing out everything you do and starting over. It's about making small, intentional shifts that lead to really profound results. It's about letting go just a little bit to empower your students to step up and take the lead. So, my question for you is simple. Looking back at everything we've talked about, what is one level 4 practice you can try in your classroom this week? Thanks so much for joining me.